Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us at the first ever Pineapple Support virtual retreat stage at Webmaster Access. This morning we have Amy Collins, who will be providing the first class, which will be an all over body Pilates workout. So I'd like to introduce Amy.
Okay, well, thank you for introducing me, and thank you for having me. My name is Amy. I'm the Pilates Rebel. And today I'm going to take you through a full body Pilates workout, but I'd like to put particular emphasis on stretching and strength for your backs, because I imagine you've been sitting far too much recently. So we're going to do that. We're going to be starting seated, simply because my head will get cut out of the shot otherwise. So we're going to begin by just having a seat on the mat, cross-legged, and I just want to start to loosen off. So let's just make sure we've got both sit bones firmly planted on the floor, shoulders back and down, and just imagine you've got a big piece of string lifting you up from the top of the head there. And I just want to start with some shoulder rolling, because I think we all get a little bit tense up here. So we're really going to loosen off these muscles today. So pull those shoulders back and down, up nice and straight. Just take your head to the side, around the front, and we're just going to keep changing direction. I don't want us to go backwards. It's hyperextension. It is not good for you. So we're just going to get that nice stretch rolling around the neck and around your trapezius muscles. Okay, just a couple more of these, because you'll be wanting to do some work. And then we're just going to get some shoulder rolls going to put some warmth in there. So if you just want to start to roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and then bring those shoulder blades together and down your back. So we're just going to do about 4 or 5 of these in each direction. And I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm getting smiles. Okay, let's change directions. Lift those shoulders right up. Oh, it's lovely to see the smiles. Okay, one more of those. And then we're just going to wring ourselves out a little bit and start to stretch the backs off. So I'm going to put this left hand in front of me here, my right hand behind me, and I'm going to lift up through the crown of my head as I breathe in. And as I exhale, I'm going to twist my body round to the right. Be careful of leaning on your arms. So again, we're going to lift as we inhale and exhale as we twist. Like I said, it's like we're wringing ourselves out. We want to get the spines nice and twisty, because a twisty spine is a young spine, and we all want one of those. We're just going to do this 2 more times. Lift and twist. Last one. Keep those shoulders back and down. And twist. Okay, we're going to release that and then go the other way. So take the right hand, pop it in front of you, left behind, nice straight back, nice open chest. Lift again for that breath in, and exhale as we twist around. Now, when we breathe in Pilates, it's in through the nose, into the rib cage. And as we exhale, I'm knitting those ribs down and together, pulling pubic bone to navel, navel to spine. So 2 more times. Lift, twist, lift, and twist. Okay, now let's just release that. And before we start to get a bit of a burn going on, we're just going to do a little bit of warming up of our shoulders and our legs and our core in this all fours position. So if we can get to here, we want our wrists directly under our shoulders and our knees directly under our hips. We're just going to do a cheeky little drill here to get nice and warm. So press down on those 4 points of contact on the mat. And from there, just look at the mat in front of you, so you've got a nice straight neck, tummy's pulled in, ribs are knitted up and together. Now from here, I'm going to take a breath in, and as I exhale, my right arm and left leg are going to press out away from my body, keeping my body still. I'm going to pulse them both up for 5, 4, hold those tummies in, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to round my back. I'm going to crunch my elbow into my knee, and then I'm going to extend them away again. Imagine I'm pulling the wrists and ankles in different directions. We're going up for 4, 3, 2, 1. We lift that back, elbow to knee, press away again, and pulse for 3, 2, 1. Another crunch, and exhale as you press away. 2 pulses. Bring that knee to the elbow again, last one, pulse, and back to underneath your shoulders and your hips. So take a breath in, we're going again on the other side. Exhale as you extend the left arm and the right leg, pointy toes, reaching the fingers and toes as far away from each other as you can. And let's pulse them up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're crunching in again. Use your tummy to lift you back towards the sky. Press away and pulse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for the crunch. Exhale. Extend. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Extend. 2, 1. And then the last time. And pulse. 4, 1. And down. Okay. Let's just, now that we're a little bit warm, take a moment sitting back to your heels there in child's pose. And let's just open out those lower backs a bit. While you're doing that, I'm going to explain a little bit about what's coming next. So you guys are hopefully having a nice stretch in child's pose. When we've been sitting down loads, which we've all been locked in quarantine, our hips tend to get very tight. A lot of you may be feeling a bit of pain going on in the lower back. It's normally because we've been seated. These muscles get tight, push the pelvis into this position. So these muscles get all stiff. So I really want to open out here and open out here today, and we'll move to here a little bit later. So to start with, let's come back to all fours. So out of rest mode, please. We're going to plant our hands down, tuck our toes under, and we're coming up into down dog. Now, while we're here, just let your head hang like a stone and have a little pedal. So if you press one heel to the floor, turn your tailbone up to the ceiling and bend the other knee in. And then just change those over. Take it nice and slow and really get the feeling of breathing into the backs of those legs. Push your chest towards your knees. Really press into that mat. And let's just have a couple of changes here. And then I'm going to risk cutting my own head off so that you get a nice loose back. So bring the feet in and we're just going to walk back into this position. Have a little swing around of your arms. I want you to loosen off the shoulders. Nod and shake your head like you're saying yes and no, and a little bit of bend in those knees. Then take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to squeeze our bums, pelvic floors, abs. Tuck your tailbone under, stack your pelvis onto your thighs, and one vertebrae at a time after that. And this is where I lose my head. Okay, give the shoulders a roll. Take a deep breath in again. Chin to chest, pull your tummies in, and let's roll back down. All right, another little shake about. And now we're walking back into down dog, and I did promise some hip opening. So from here, we're going to let the left leg just float up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to open out the hip and bring my heel into my bum. So I'm really pressing that knee away and upwards behind me, pushing into the mat and relaxing my neck. And from there, I'm going to bring that foot through to between my hands. If it doesn't get there, please pick it up and put it there. We must protect this knee. It can't go past your midfoot. If you need to, pop that back knee down on the mat. That'll take a bit of pressure off. But if you want to go crazy, we're going to leave that knee up. So I want to come into a balanced position here. I'm tucking under with that tailbone and feeling that stretch in the front of my right hip. And all I want to do from here is take the arms high if I can, drag the shoulders down and really feel that stretch coming in there. We're going to take 3 deep breaths into the rib cage. Exhale as I sink deeper into that. Lovely. Okay, hands down, pop that foot back, and let's head back into down dog. Have another little moment here, just pedaling away. And then push both heels down, and this time let's let that right leg float up. Open out the hip, bend the knee so the heel is nice and close to your bum cheek. Really press that knee away behind you, pushing into the mat, and hold here for a moment. And then when we're ready, we're going to take a breath in and exhale as we come through again, making sure that foot is between the hands. Now, of course, if you took this option of the knee down last time, do it again. Otherwise, we're here. I'm really pushing that left heel away behind me, straightening out this leg, tucking under with the tailbone and feeling that stretch in the front of the hip. And of course, this knee is protected as well. So arms up, drag those shoulders down, and let's just breathe into that stretch again. 3 deep breaths. Drop down a little further every time. Okay, let's take those hands down, back into down dog. Take another little pedal here. And I'm going to be extremely kind and give you another moment's rest in child's pose while you stretch those backs out a bit more. So that should feel a little bit juicy here, getting those hips opened up. Next, I'm going to go into a little bit of core work. This is going to be quite tough. If you ever need to stop during any of these exercises, if it gets a little bit much, please feel free to join in when you're ready. Always listen to your body. So when you're ready, hands down, tuck those toes under. We're coming back into down dog. And this time, I'm going to let this right leg float up, but I'm keeping the hips level. As I exhale, I'm bringing the knee through to the center and coming into a high plank there. I'm going to take it back up. Really press those toes away. This time as I exhale, this left knee is coming through to the right elbow and I'm having a twist there. And then we're going back up again. And this time the left knee will come to the left elbow. And back up again. Okay, let that foot come down. Have another moment, just pedaling there. And then when you're ready, the right will float up. Keep the hips level, push the toes away, and exhale as the knee comes through, pulling your belly button to your spine. Inhale as we come back. Okay, right knee to left elbow. And inhale back. Last one. Right knee to right elbow. Can you tell I'm having struggles with my left and right? And back. Let the foot float down. Bring the knees down. And again, take another moment in child's pose. And have a little rest. And I'm hoping you've all got your water. It's terribly important. Okay. So, you've had your moment in child's pose. We're going to have a lie down on our backs next. And I want to really start to hit the tummies. So, from here, just take a quick full body stretch out to release what we've just done. And then we're going to prepare. Never fear, we've lost no time. So if you'd like to lie down again, I love technology. So where were we? We were in tabletop. Hands clasped behind the head and shoulders off the mat. To prepare, I'm going to take a breath into my ribs. As I exhale, I'm pulling my tummy in so it's nice and tight, and that left leg is pressed away and it is engaged. I inhale as it comes back, nice and simple. Exhale, right leg, nice and tight. Inhale back. So we're just going to do that 4 more times. You should be pushing all the air out here, working really hard, and make sure that this knee comes no closer than the hip when you push the other leg away. Okay, we've got 2 more. Inhale back. Last one there. Inhale back. Pull your knees in. Now, just before we go into the slightly harder one, I just want to make sure that we're working properly. So anybody can just sort of do this. It's not really doing anything. So what I'd like you to imagine is when you're lying on your backs, that my hand is under your lower back. And when you press the air out, so in this case, when you're pressing the leg away, you're using your tummy muscles to try and crush the hand underneath my lower back. So the next exercise is a little harder. If you want to stay with what we've just done, please do. But this next one is going to help to open out the shoulders and the chest a little bit too. So I'm up in tabletop again, head and shoulders down if you want, knees and heels together. I'm popping my hands on either side of my knees here. I take a breath in. As I exhale, I'm pressing both legs away, reaching over my head and bringing my arms back round to their original position. We're going to do 4 more of those. Really keep those backs on the floor. Okay, last one here. And have a little moment. So really bring those knees in, open out the lower back, do whatever feels nice, make some circles with your knees, all of that. So just, like I say, enjoy that for a second. And then we're going to start working into our sides a little bit. We shall leave nothing untouched. So the next one, we're going to go into one of the original Pilates exercises, which is a roll up, but we're of course going to pimp it. So we'll start lying down on the mat like that. If you're either lacking in strength or if you have a pronounced curve in your lower back, you might need to pop your hands under your lower back to help with this. I'm going to start with my legs squeezed together, feet flexed, so my toes are coming back towards me. I'm taking my arms above my head, take a breath in, and as I exhale, I'm bringing the arms up, I'm tucking my chin in, and I'm rolling with control up off the mat into a little stretch there. We don't want to round the shoulders. Keep the shoulders back and down and just look straight ahead. So you get that lovely stretch down the backs of the legs and a little bit into the lower back. Then I'm going to sit up nice and straight. Again, shoulders back and down. I'm going to take a breath in. As we exhale, we're pubic bone to navel, navel to spine. So you're tucking under and curling that back. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale as we twist the torso to the right. Breathe in as you hold. And exhale as we come back to center. The lower you are, the harder this will be. So you choose how hard you work. Breath in. Exhale as we twist left. Breath in. And exhale back again. Take another breath in. And this time we'll exhale as we come down with control, one vertebrae at a time. Have a little stretch out. And we're going to do that 2 more times through. On the last one, I'm going to add something which you can do if you choose to. If you're not comfortable with it, stay with exactly what we've just done. So just to recap, feet are flexed, heels are squished together. So it's really engaging your pelvic floor, your glutes, and your abs there. Arms overhead, or you're using this option with your hands under your lower back. So I'll show us that one too. Breath in. Exhale, chin to chest, and my hands are giving me a little bit of help there as I roll up and come into that stretch again, keeping those shoulders back and down. Okay, just hold that stretch for a moment. Sit up nice and straight. Take a breath in. Exhale as we curl that spine into that C shape. We come down, we keep the feet flexed, heels squished together. Breath in. Exhale as we twist right. Breathe in as you hold. And exhale back to center. Another breath in. Exhale as we twist left. It's the torso twisting, not the arms flinging around. Breathe in as you hold. And exhale back to center. Breath in. And exhale as we come down. Now, if you're happy with just that, stick with just that. But if anybody wants to go a little bit further on this last one, we're going to go upside down. Again, if it's not for you, please leave it. Otherwise, we start with our roll up again, arms overhead. Squeeze those heels, take a breath in, and up we come, pushing that air out, coming up with control into our little stretch, trying to keep our shorts on. Nice little stretch there. Really work those feet. It makes all the difference. Always turning the toes back to you. Okay, I'm sitting up straight. This time, breath in. Exhale as I come down, just a little bit. Breath in. Exhale for the twist. Breathe in, exhale, center, breath in, exhale for the twist, breath in, exhale, center. Again, if you're not going upside down, just roll back to the floor. If you'd like to try, we're coming down again, but I'm keeping my arms down by my side. My legs are coming up over the top. I can support myself here if I need to, and hopefully you won't have a chair in the way. But I'm just taking those to wherever feels comfortable. So I've got those over my head, toes on the floor, and I'm feeling a lovely stretch down here. Again, you can stick your hands here if that makes you a little bit more comfortable, but I'm just going to jackknife out of this for the last thing. So hands here if necessary. Otherwise, we're coming up into this nice straight line. I'm going to take a breath, As I exhale, I'm just going to come back down with control, one vertebra at a time, and then bend the knees and bring the feet down. Gosh, that was fun. Right, have a nice little stretch out. So for your full body stretch, just to release off, if you just consider this finger here, the middle fingers, those fingers, if you just reach those as far away from your big toes as possible. So you're nice and long down the mat, and those are the end of your fascia lines, so that gives you an extra stretch. So let's just go into the right first. So reach the right big toe and the right middle finger as far away from each other as you can, and just breathe into that side of the body. Sorry, this is right for you. So just take a couple of breaths down there. Be careful of your shoulders bunching up. We're trying to loosen them today. Let that go, and let's do the same on the other side. So middle finger, big toe, as far away from each other as possible. As always, keeping this lovely space under our shoulders. So just enjoy that stretch for a couple more breaths. If you'd like to do both sides at the same time, please do. And then we're going to do one last thing here. Just to hurt the, not today, last thing directly onto the tummy. So now that you've had a release, let us get back to it. So up into tabletop, one leg at a time. Knees and heels together. Again, knees no closer than your hips. And let's take those hands behind our head. As we exhale, I'm going to push the air out. I'm going to slide my ribs down as if I'm trying to connect them to my pelvis. And then I'm going to twist to my right and take my left hand to the outside of my right knee. And I'm going to pulse across 10 times. We are not pulling ourselves up on our legs. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale back to center. And let's do the same on the other side. So exhale up and twist. Keep squeezing those knees. This right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Let's pulse across for 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Bring those knees in and have another little moment there. And before we move on to our bums, sorry, we're just going to have another little stretch out there. So if you just we're going to go into a half happy daisy. So let that left leg lengthen out and take hold of the right heel with your right hand. If you can't reach the heel, take the ankle or hold behind the thigh. I'm not properly dressed for this today. Okay, so we're trying to get the heel above the knee and pull that down into the armpit. With these left toes, I'm really pressing them away so I can feel that in the front of that hip. And I'm going to take that left middle finger again and reach that away behind me. So we're going to stay here for about 7 seconds. And we're just going to enjoy that. If you clench your left butt cheek here as well, you'll get an extra stretch into the front of the hip. But that's about 7 seconds. So I'm going to bring this right heel down. And I'm going to lengthen that leg away. And then the left is lifting up. I'm taking the heel in that left hand, pointing those right toes, pulling that left knee into my left armpit, and reaching my right middle fingers away from my right big toes. Again, 7 seconds, and just breathe and enjoy it. Clench that right bum cheek if you want a bit more in the front of this hip. It is good for you. Oh. Okay, we'll release that. We'll have a wiggle. And then we're going to do a little bit of side leg work. Now, I really want to work into this part of our bums, into the glute med muscles. Everybody always hits the other bigger muscles, but this is a great muscle. If you have knees that come in a little bit like this is the muscle to activate and engage to bring them back out again. So I want it to hurt here. Now, we're going to lie down on our side. And if you just rest your head on that lower arm there, and I'd like you to have your hips stacked directly one on top of the other. The knees are directly in front of the hip and the heel directly below the knee. So I've got a right angle in my lap and I've got a right angle under my knee. I also want a nice long waist, so I'm pressing that hip away. Now, keeping these one on top of the other, and put your hand here to make sure Make sure you rest your head too, otherwise your neck will be sore. But all I'm going to do is lift and inhale as I come down. I'm going to do my very best to keep my shorts appropriate. So exhale for the lift. No twisting out like that. Keep those hips stacked. Inhale down. We're not going all the way down. So again, exhale, lift. There's number 3. Inhale down. We're going to do 2 more like this. Inhale down and exhale, lift. On this one, I'm going to pulse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm coming down, but not all the way. And I'm going to make little circles from the hip. 5, 4, just above that lower knee. 2, 1. Then let's change directions. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, without resting, I want to drive that heel away so it's in line with my body. Your foot is flexed and toes are pointing slightly towards the floor. And we're going to lift that slowly for 5, 4. Try not to allow the waist to shorten like that. 3, keep it long. 2, 1. And then we're going to circle. 5, 4. Keep the foot flexed, keep the body still. 3. Hold your tummies in. 2, 1. Change directions. 5, 4. Keep those tummies in. Don't let your lower back bend. 2, 1. Now, lastly, I'm going to turn the toes towards the floor, and I'm going to exhale as I rotate that whole leg around so I can really feel it coming into the hip socket. Inhale as I twist it down. Exhale up. Let's go 3 more. Inhale down. This is the last thing here, by the way. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Last one. Inhale down. Exhale up. And then just pull that knee into your chest. That'll release off that yuckiness that you're feeling. And if you want to, just take the heel of your hand and give that area a little rub. Because if you were doing it right, it will hurt. So yeah, just take a moment and we'll get over that. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, so let's make sure that we get the positioning right again. So we've changed sides. We're resting our head all the time on this lower arm. I've got both knees directly in front of my hips. My hips are stacked, waist is long, and my heels are directly below my knees. So take that hand. Stick it on there to make sure we don't do this, and make sure your head is rested. So same again, exhale as we lift. Inhale down, 4 more times. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Really squeeze at the top there. 2 more like that. Excuse me. Okay, last one and we pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're coming down, but not all the way. And we want those little circles. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep the shoulder back. 1. Change directions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're driving that heel away. I've got that nice long waist going on again. The foot is flexed. Toes to the floor. We're lifting. 5. Inhale down. 4. Lengthening as well. Sorry, they didn't close the road for me doing this. I can't believe it. 3. Push that heel away. 2. 1. Okay, keep it flexed. Let's circle. 5. Keep that body still. Pause, pulled in. 4, 3, 2. It's in line. 1 and change. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to turn those toes down and rotate all the way out, right up to the hip socket as we exhale. Inhale down. Number 2. Squeeze those bums. Inhale down. And 3. Inhale down. Foot is really flexed. Tummy's pulled in. 4. Last one. And 5. Okay. Bring that knee in. Release off again. And let's pop the heels of our hands in there. So again, you just take a little moment getting over that. We're going to do a lovely stretch to release that area off, and then I'm going to turn that into an extra bit of stretching to open out your lower backs a little bit for you, which will really help with the stiffness that you are most likely feeling at the moment. So let's release our bums first. This is also, for your information, going to open out your chests a little bit. When we're seated again and working on computers and things, we can get a little bit tight here. So we're going to open that too. Pop your feet together on the mat, knees together, and have a lie down. Arms out to the sides, palms to ceiling. And all I'm going to do is take my knees down to the right as I look to the left. I am keeping my left shoulder blade planted on the mat, and I'm going to just extend that left leg. I'm just going to let it rest. If you can't, feel free to put something underneath that foot for support. But I'm keeping this left shoulder blade glued to the mat, and I'm feeling a nice stretch down here. I'm getting the feeling of twisting my pelvis in this direction and twisting my rib cage in that direction. So it's like I'm twisting them in opposite directions around my spine to get that twist. So just relax into that stretch for a moment, breathing in deeply through the nose. Visualize breathing into the area that you're stretching. And as you exhale, you're just going to let that relax a little bit more. If you're not feeling the stretch as much as you think you should, feel free to move the leg around a bit. We're all slightly tight in different places. So you might work better up here. You might work better down there. But just take another couple of breaths there. And then we're going to open out the lower back a little bit. So with this left knee, I'm going to lift it and I'm going to take it in my right hand. I'm going to use that right hand to pull the knee over to the right. I'm reaching my left hand to the left, and I've still got my shoulder blade on the mat. So this really open out those lower backs. You might get a little pop going on. There shouldn't be any pain. But again, feel free to take the knee further up or down. That'll move the stretch around here, but it will allow you to decide where you want the work to go. But the lower back should be feeling nice and open after another couple of breaths. And we had better do the other side. So just one last deep breath there, just releasing off. And we'll come back into our starting position. So we want those feet flat on the floor. They're together again. Knees are together, arms are out, palms to the ceiling. Okay, so this time my knees are dropping down to the left and I'm looking to the right. And if I didn't have a sofa here, I'd extend that right leg. I'm just going to take it to here. I can still keep my shoulder blade down, but my right leg is extended across. I'm twisting my pelvis that way and I'm sending my rib cage that way. I'm looking in the opposite direction as well, but always imagine that you're just melting this rib cage down towards the mat there. So again, just enjoy that stretch. Nice deep breaths, taking the air into the area that you're stretching and then allowing yourself to relax a little bit further into it every time you exhale. So we're going to take another 2 or 3 there. I'm sorry, it's an ant attack. So take another 2 or 3 breaths there and we're going to start to open out the lower backs as well. So we are currently in this position. So this time I'm going to bend that right knee up, take it in my left hand, and I'm going to use my left hand to pull it over to the left as I reach this right hand away to the right. Keeping this down. If we're doing this, it's not working. So keep that down. I'd much rather the knee was higher and the shoulder blade on the mat. So just do whatever works for you. Take notice as well. If it feels tighter on one side than the other, and start to work out why. What actions are we doing all day that make that happen? It's always good to become more conscious of your movement and to maintain your bodies afterwards. So 2 more deep breaths because I feel it's high time we got back to work. When you're ready, I'd like us to come onto all fours again. Now, I really want to work into the backs of the legs and the bums, slightly different muscles in the bums this time. So let's get our Wrists planted directly under our shoulders like we did at the beginning, and our knees directly under our hips. We don't want to have a dip in the back like that or an arch like that. We want it nice and flat. I'm pulling my shoulders away from my ears. My tummy is pulled in and my ribs are knitted up and together. So if someone were to come and give me a boot, I wouldn't feel it. Right, from here, take a breath in. As we exhale, we're going to press those left toes away behind us, keeping the body still. So I haven't lifted so high that my back's arched. I'm keeping my tummy in. And we're going to circle that leg for 10, 9. I'm really reaching those toes away behind me. 7, 6. Keep the body still. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change directions. Remember to look at the mat just ahead of you. Keep the neck long. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to flex that foot. So the toes pointed towards the floor, and I'm going to pulse the straight leg up 10 times. 10, 9, hold those tummies in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now as I exhale, I want to drag that heel in to a 90-degree angle in the knee, and I'm going to pulse the sole of my foot towards the sky for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that back down. You might want to give it a wiggle. If you're working hard enough, again, that should really get into the backs of your legs there. Consider moving through mud when you're doing this. Really engage the muscles as you make the movements. Don't just waggle limbs around. So let's do that on the other side. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. I've got that flat back, my shoulders away from my ears, and everything is tight as a drum. So take a breath in, and exhale as those right toes press away behind you. Body stayed still, hip has not lifted. Let's circle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's change directions. Forward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's inhale as we press that heel away. The foot's flexed now. Pulse the straight leg up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breath in and exhale as we drag that heel in again, 90 degrees behind the knee, and pulse the sole of the foot to the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, and let's just take a moment there. So back into child's pose. Have a nice little stretch out into that lower back. Not too much just yet, because I've got another exercise I'd like to do for the whole of the back of the body. It's going to engage every single muscle. I'm also going to give you an option. If you've got any issues with your lower back and you don't want to put too much pressure on it, we'll do something slightly different. So the two options. The first one, for anybody who's concerned about their lower back, all we're going to do is put the diamond onto this mat, pop our forehead into it, pull our shoulders back, and we'll be lifting both legs and just swimming like that. If that's too much still, if you've got an injury or something like that, you just can lift and lower, lift and lower, okay? I'm going to go straight in, so you know what to do if we're worried about backs. Otherwise, I'm reaching the arms forward. I'm karate chopping the floor. My forehead is to the mat. I'm pressing my pubic bone and my hip bones down into the mat and pulling my shoulders towards my waistband. I'm going to exhale as I lift that upper and lower body, keeping a big double chin, looking down, and we're going to swim like this. We're only going to do this for 10 seconds, but we're holding our tummies in. We're reaching the fingers away in front and the toes away behind. We're moving from our shoulders and our hips, not our knees or our elbows. Give me another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Okay. All the yucky stuff is over. So we're going to do a really lovely stretch now. Again, a lot of us from being slightly rounded in our positions in our daily lives, you might also feel a bit of pain across the upper back. And these great big back muscles here can get tight too. So I'm going to address a little bit of that to start with. Take your knees wide and sit back onto your heels. If you're tight here and you can't get back onto your heels, you could put a cushion under here to make it a little bit more comfortable. So just do what works for you. We're going to reach out like that. I'm on my fingertips, so I've got a little height, and I'm going to very gently press down through my armpits and just move around a little bit, however my body wants to. So you might want to roll your shoulders. You might just want to have some little twists. If you're really reaching away with those fingers, you may feel this in between the shoulder blades, or you may feel it down here. We're going to enhance it in a moment though. So take another breath there. And then when you're ready, we're going to walk our fingers to the left. Not all the way over, I'm going more off on a diagonal in line with my knee. And I'm going to reach this right hand over to the left. And I'm going to push my right bum cheek back towards my right heel. So I'm feeling a lovely stretch all down this right hand side of my body. You might get a little ripping sensation. That's a good thing, that's the fascia. But just enjoy that stretch. Spend about 15 seconds there. And if you want to enhance it a little bit, you can take hold of that right wrist with your left hand and use it to pull in the direction away from your right bum cheek. One more lovely deep breath there. And then we're going to walk over gently to the other side. Again, in line with the knee if you can. This left hand is reaching away to the right, and this left bum cheek is pressing back towards that left heel. I'm relaxing my neck. And again, just breathing down into that left side of my body. Just to get hold in that position. Enjoy the stretch. I'm going to do a few more really nice stretches for legs and hips after this. And then should you have any questions at the end, please feel free to ask. Okay, one more deep breath in that stretch. And then we're going to come up into a seated position. And I want to do some nice stretches for the backs of the legs. We're going to try and increase flexibility very, very quickly now with a clever trick. So press your legs out in front of you. Can you see? Kind of, yes. Press your legs out in front of you. You need to have your feet flexed for this. Your toes need to be facing you. If you're not comfortable here or you can't keep your back straight, put something under your bum. That height will help. Right, feet are flexed. We're sitting up nice and straight. Let's take those arms high. Breathe in as we lift and exhale as you fold forwards. And what I'd like you to do is notice where you're reaching to. You may be reaching to here. You might be here. You might be at your toes. If you're really flexible and you're past your toes, notice on the floor where you're reaching to. And just breathe into this stretch for a moment. And we're going to see if we can reach a little bit further after this. So I'm going to take this left foot and put it to the outside of my right knee. My left hand goes to my left knee, and that right foot must be flexed, otherwise this won't work. So let's take the right hand and put it behind our bums. I'm really pressing that heel away. Now think of what we did at the beginning of the class. We lifted as we inhaled and exhaled as I use my hands to help me twist round to the right. I'm pushing that left knee into the mat. I lift and twist. We're wringing ourselves out again. We need to do 3 more of these. Keep this foot working. Lift, twist, keep the shoulders back, keep the chest open, keep the spine straight, piece of string lifting us to the ceiling. And again, twist. Last time. Keep those feet flexed. Oh, okay, pop that left foot back. We're going to put the right foot to the outside of the left knee. My right hand comes to my right knee and this left foot is flexed. Left hand behind my back. Straight spine, lift, and exhale as we twist to the left. And again, lift. Exhale for the twist. You should be pushing the back of that left knee down to the mat. If you can get the left heel up off the floor, great. And again, twist. Pull those shoulders back, nice long collarbones. 2 more times. Okay, now, if you were working nice and hard with your feet, we may well have a bit of magic happen here. So let's just sit up straight again. Make sure that these feet are flexed again. Toes are coming back towards you. My arms are up. I'm lifting. And exhale as I fold forwards. And I'm really, really hoping that you've got maybe an extra inch or 2 of flexibility there. So just take one more nice deep breath. And come up again. Okay, we're going to lie down on our tummies. I've got a few more stretches I really want to get done here. So lie down on your tummy. The next one is going to be for our tummy. So I'm just going to put my forehead to the mat. My hands are under my shoulders or a little bit in front. Now, as I exhale, I'm coming up into Cobra, which is this position. You can stay on your forearms if this is enough for you. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and push your breastbone upwards and forwards. Please don't lean your head back. It's not good for your neck. If you want a little bit more here, you can press into your hands. The elbows can come off the mat. They're tucked in though. The fingers are spread wide. The shoulders are still pulled down away from the ears. And again, sternum is upwards and forwards. And let's just breathe there for a moment. And we're slowly going to come back down. Now, while we're in this position, I want to stretch into the front of the thighs. Please make sure your knees are together. And I'm going to start one side only. So I'm going to take this right hand to my right ankle. What I'm not doing is trying to get the thigh off the mat. That's not a thigh stretch, it's a hip stretch. So keep the thigh down, knees together. Pull your heel into the center of your bum cheek and rest your head down. And then to enhance the stretch, clench your bum, push your pelvis into the mat and tuck your tailbone over. Not over, under. Tuck your tailbone under. Apologies. Now, you either do this one at a time. If you're able to and you're comfortable with it, take both ankles in your hands. Keep your knees together. Keep your heels to the center of your bum cheeks. Clench your bum. Press your pelvis into the mat. And I'm getting the feeling of pressing my knees in that direction. So they're going off behind me. Really tuck those tailbones under. Give that about another 5 seconds or so, breathing into that. Please keep your forehead down. This is quite nice to open out the fronts of the shoulders as well. 3, 2, 1. And release. Okay, and now want to come up into a kneeling position. If you're happier cross-legged, please feel free to do that. But I want to stretch into the necks and the shoulders a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, again, make sure that my back is really, really straight. I'm going to take this left hand behind my back and I'm going to grab the left wrist with my right hand. Okay, now my right ear is going to my right shoulder. And I'm pulling my left wrist down and to the right. So if I turn round, this is what it looks like. So that's allowing me to feel the stretch right down the side of my neck, and it's coming into my shoulders. So careful you don't end up leaning or crumpling forwards. Keep the back straight and just breathe into that. Two more breaths. Okay, release that off and give it a wiggle. Okay, let's come back, make sure that we're focusing on a straight spine. This time my right hand is going behind my back. I'm taking hold of the right wrist with my left hand. My left ear moves towards my left shoulder as I look straight ahead, and I'm pulling my right wrist down and to the left. So once again, I've got that lovely stretch down the right side of my neck, and it's coming into my shoulder too. Keeping the back straight, you're always imagining lengthening the spine, creating space between the vertebrae. We're just going to do 2 or 3 more breaths here. Okay, release that arm and gently let your head come back again. Lastly, I want to stretch into the fronts of the hips. So if we can come up onto our knees, if you need any padding or cushion or whatever under your knee, please feel free to do that. But I'm going to put my right foot out in front. Now this is a Pilates hip stretch. So I want the right heel directly below the right knee, and I want the left knee directly below the left hip. Now what I'm going to do first is tuck my tailbone under and clench my left bum cheek so I can feel that stretch now in the front of the left hip. Now to enhance that stretch, to take it deeper and higher, I'm taking my left arm up, I'm grabbing the wrist with the right hand, I'm pulling it up and slightly over to the right. Keep the space between your ear and your shoulders, keep tucking under so you feel that nice juicy stretch here. This can get a little emotional. We're going to do 4 more breaths. And release that off. Okay, let's change sides. So put that knee down, padding under it if you need to. My left foot goes out in front, heel below knee, knee below hip on the right side. Okay, let's get the stretch first. So tuck under, clench that right bum cheek, feel the stretch in the front of the right hip. Then when you've got that, to take it deeper and higher, let's take that right arm up, keep the space, take hold of the wrist. With the left hand, pull it up and slightly over, keep tucking under, keep clenching the bum cheek, and we're going to take another 3 deep breaths here. Please don't allow the shoulder to bunch up after the lovely stretches that we have done. Okay, when you are ready to release that, please do. Now, I'm going to come up into down dog, risking cutting my head off again, but here goes. Hands to the floor, toes are tucked under. We're through into down dog. We're letting that head hang like a stone again, and we're just going to have another pedal here. Notice if you feel any less stiff than at the beginning. I do hope so. Push your chest towards your knees, relax those heads, extend those backs. And now I'm going to walk feet to hands. From here, I've got my knees bent a little bit. I'm just letting my arms circle a touch, nodding and shaking my head. If you're really flexible and you can't wiggle your arms around, just take your elbows in your hands and give those a little swing. Try not to bounce here. It's here. And just enjoy that for a moment. Okay. From here, take a deep breath in to the top of the rib cage. As we exhale, we're squeezing those core muscles. We're tucking our tailbones under, stacking up one vertebrae at a time, pulling our tummies in, coming up. And I'm going to kneel down. You don't have to. I'm going to roll the shoulders a little bit. And then I'm going to take the arms wide, palms up, and I'm reaching. Hands together. Bring them to your heart space with your shoulders back and down. Give yourselves a huge round of applause for doing terribly well. And I wanted to leave just a couple of minutes in case anybody did have any questions or anything like that. This would be a good time to ask. I was just worried I'd get told off if I took more time than I'm allowed.
Thank you so much, Amy. That was absolutely wonderful. Oh, there's two of me.
That's too much.
Oh, wonderful.
A pleasure, thank you.
That was absolutely wonderful. There've been some nice comments popping down the screen, people enjoying the stretching. So
that's very kind. Well, thank you. Tell them thank you very much for joining me. It's been a lovely time.
Thank you.